Hi Rocker friends, it's Miss Emily. Today we're going to learn a lot about space. Have you ever looked outside at night and saw all the stars? Those stars are up in space and they're actually really big even though they just look really little. That's because they're so far away. Today we're going to read two stories about space. We know that there's two types of stories. There's real stories called non-fiction, and those give us facts and tell us things that we know are true. And then there are pretend stories called fiction, and those are pretend stories about things that aren't really true but are fun to read about. All right, so first we're going to read a true story about space, and then we're going to read a pretend story about space. Ready? Let's do it. Here's our real story. It's a non-fiction story called Our Solar System by Peter and Connie Roop. These are the planets in the solar system. We're going to learn about them in this book. Our solar system has 8 planets. Each planet moves in a path around the sun. This path is called an orbit. So they move in a circle path around the sun, kind of like a circle path around my face. The sun. Whoa, it's red and yellow and very hot. Hot, hot, hot. The sun is a giant ball of hot gas, and it's the center of the solar system. Up here, this little planet is Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system, and it's the closest planet to the sun. Next planet is Venus. Venus is the brightest planet in the night sky. Venus is covered with thick clouds. Now, there's no people that live on Mercury, and there's no people that live on Venus. But this next planet, Earth, is where we live. Let's find out about the planet that we live on. We live on planet Earth. Our planet takes about 365 days, that's 1 year, to orbit the sun. So that's like from your 3rd birthday all the way waiting until your 4th birthday. And that's how long it takes for our planet Earth to go all the way around that sun. Earth is the only planet that we know that people live on because it has water and land and it has air for us to breathe so we can live on it. The next planet is Mars. It looks kind of red. We call Mars the red planet because the rocks on the surface, that means on the ground, of Mars look red. And all of these planets before were pretty small, but look at this big planet. Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is called a gas giant planet. Gas giant planets do not have a solid surface, so it doesn't have hard ground that people can walk on. Wow, it looks pretty cool. It has stripes. This next planet looks different. It's round, like a ball, like the other planets, but then it has these rings around it. Wonder what we're going to find out about that. This planet is Saturn. Saturn is also a gas giant planet. So what does a gas giant planet mean? Oh yeah, there's no hard ground to walk on. It has rings made of ice, rocks, and dust. That's what's around the planet. Ice, rocks, and dust. Next planet's smaller, called Uranus. Uranus is called an ice giant planet. It is the only planet in our solar system that's tipped on its side. All the other ones stand up straight, but Uranus is tipped a little bit. Cool. This next planet is called Neptune. Neptune is the planet that is the furthest away from the sun. It's also an ice giant planet, and it has the strongest winds. Ooh, so it's super windy on Neptune. Our solar system is part of the Milky Way galaxy. Our Milky Way galaxy is filled with many stars, planets, moons, asteroids, and comets. And the universe has many other galaxies in it. Look at that. So I think that's the sun right in the middle, and then all of this around it, and all the planets are in that big orbit around the sun in our galaxy. Here's the planet. So the sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Cool. So now we know all about the planets in our solar system. Now, are you ready to hear a pretend story about our solar system? Great. Here's a pretend story I have. It's called, who's this? Peppa in Space. Now we know this is a pretend story because Peppa wears clothes and she talks, and it looks like she's dressed up as an astronaut in space. Is that real? Goodness, no. So that's how we know this is a pretend story. It's a sunny day. Peppa is playing with her bouncy ball outside. George and his friend Edmund Elephant are playing with their space toys. They're pretending that they're on the moon. Mummy and Daddy Pig have an idea. There is a show at the museum about the moon and space, so they all go to see it. But Peppa is nervous. She doesn't want to go to the moon. Will we really have to go to the moon? Peppa asks. No, Peppa, Daddy Pig says. We're not going to the moon. We're going to the museum. Miss Rabbit gives Mummy Pig 5 tickets. 5 tickets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. Enjoy your trip to the moon, Miss Rabbit says. And Peppa's confused because she thought they were only going to the museum, not the moon. Then Mr. Rabbit leads Peppa and her family into a rocket ship. Peppa thinks it looks real. Mr. Rabbit even puts on a helmet like a real astronaut. But Mr. Rabbit reminds her that it's only pretend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! On the first stop of the tour, Mr. Rabbit explains that there are 8 planets that go around the sun. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Peppa and everyone she knows lives on Earth. We learned about those planets in our last story. Some planets are made of rock, some planets are made of ice, and some planets are made of gas. We learned about that in our last story too. The next stop on the tour is a big room with a moon. If this was a real moon, you could jump over my head, Mr. Rabbit says. Gravity is what keeps us on the ground. It's weaker on the moon, so you can jump higher. Mr. Rabbit straps everyone into anti-gravity rubber bands. Then they bounce high into the air as if they're on the moon. And it's a lot of fun. Say moon cheese, Miss Rabbit says as she snaps a photo. The tour is over, but Peppa still has many questions. Are there trees on the moon? She asks. No, Mr. Rabbit answers. Are there any cars on the moon? No. Are there any moon shops? No, that would be silly. Are there people that live on the moon? No. Peppa, her family, and Edmund enter the museum shop. Welcome to the moon shop, says Miss Rabbit. The moon shop sells many things. Daddy Pig buys a piece of moon cheese. The moon is very tasty, he says. But the moon is not really made of cheese. It's made of rock. Miss Rabbit holds out a photo. Here is a photo of piggies on the moon with an elephant, she says. Everyone giggles. They like the picture. Peppa, George, Edmund, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig have all had a fun day at the museum and in space. The end. Wow, it sounds so much fun to go to space. I wonder about all the things that you would see. You'd probably see some planets, maybe some stars, some comets or asteroids. Who goes to space? Astronauts, you're right. Astronauts go to space in their special spacesuits and their special rocket ships. Well, I can't wait to learn more about space soon. All right, but for now, see you later.